Good morning, Vincent. Here is your machine, the Breville Barista Express. As you saw in the photos, it's in very good condition. Obviously, it's a used machine, so do expect some wear and tear. So mainly around the front. So you've got some light scratches around the front here, a bit of wear and tear on the back, and a couple nicks here and there. But honestly, this machine is in pretty good condition for its age. No major cosmetic issues. And what's really important is the internals. This machine is in excellent condition internally as well, absolutely no issues at all. And I've just finished doing the service cleaning and checkup last night. Everything was perfect, and I haven't had to do any repairs, which is great. So now the machine is turned on, we're ready to make a coffee. I'm going to quickly take you through the process that I do when I make a latte. I like to begin with a blank shot, so I would get my cup, put the portafilter on a little bit, press the double button. That's going to warm up my portafilter, my group head. So I was just doing the cleaning cycle last night, so the water is a bit dirty because there's a bit of soap and coffee in there. Let me clear that out. Do that again. That's better. Yep, so this is going to warm up my group head, my portafilter and my cup. And as you saw, it'll also clean any like coffee oils or grounds that are stuck in the shower screen or the basket. You can do that once or twice. And I'm going to put the cup on the side or on top here just to make way. I'll take out the portafilter, grab a tissue and dry the portafilter. Your machine comes with 4 baskets. This is the double basket, single wall. It's the single wall double basket. It will take about 18 grams of ground coffee. I've got a scale here next to me. We'll use that to confirm what goes in and what comes out. And I'll be aiming for a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning that for every gram of ground coffee that I get in the handle, in the basket, I will aim for 2 grams out into my cup. So if we put 18, I will be aiming for 36 grams of liquid espresso. Alright. Now, I haven't made a coffee on this machine yet. The only way to know we have the correct grind size is to make a coffee. So we have a few settings to change here. Grind size. Sorry about that. Grind size, grind amount, and the shot volume. I'll be adjusting them for your machine so that when you receive it, you have a sort of a plug-and-play system where you don't have to mess with the setting too much. Of course, you'll have to adjust it a little bit based on what beans you use, but hopefully not too much fussing around. So, I will start at grind size number 3. I did have a feel of the grind size yesterday, and sort of the distance between the blades. I think we'll start at number 3. That'll be appropriate. Great. Next, just make sure my scale is at 0, which it is. I'm going to put the grind amount on 12 o'clock, and then I'm going to put the filter size on single. Instead of doing a double and grinding the double in one go, I like to do the single twice. That will prevent any spillage and waste of coffee. Because it's been a while, I will get rid of the first dose. It's been a while since someone, or I guess it's been a while, so the coffee in there is a bit old in the chute and in the passageway. So usually when you change grind size or when you change beans, you want to grind for about 5 seconds to get rid of the old coffee that's stuck in there. Yeah, there's a few grams of coffee inside the mechanism. Right, I'll put it at 2 o'clock. I think that was a little bit too little coffee. So now we're starting to do the first dose. That was 8 grams. So we'll go at 3 o'clock, see what happens. So we want to top, I'm going to top it up. So I'm going to hold. So it'll grind. If you want to grind manually, you just hold the button. Instead of pressing it once, just hold it. And then as you see, after my first dose, I lightly press it with a tamper to make way for the second batch. That looks good. That was 8.5. I think that's fine. I'll leave it at 8.5. If we go too high on the grind amount, it'll be worse than going a bit too low, because you will overfill the portafilter and it'll be hard to lock it in. So that might affect your coffee. It might damage your shower screen. So I'll go a bit under. If you have a scale, ideally you want to set the settings A for the grind size so that the coffee flow is quick enough but not too quick. B, you want to set the grind amount so you get about 17.5 to 18 grams in the handle. And C, the buttons to get the correct amount of coffee. But I'll set up the button for you, the double shot button. So I'll grab my tamper here and press it nice and firmly. Make sure it's nice and even all around the same height. And then, because we have about 17.5 to 18 grams, you'll notice the silver part of the tamper disappears. So this is like a little guide I tell people. If you're in a hurry or if you don't have a scale, you want to check the amount, if it's the correct amount. When you tamp and press it nice and firm, the silver part should disappear. So it looks just like this. And it's nice and polished. And then you have to clean the edges if there's any coffee and lock it in. Just a bit to the right. And then now I'm going to get rid of the hot water and we'll see what happens. So yeah, the grind size basically controls the pressure and like how quickly the coffee comes out. If you have a very large grind size, or if you have very old beans, the coffee will flow very quickly and the pressure will be low because it's like low resistance. If the grind size is too fine and it's too compacted, your pressure will be too high and the flow will be slow. Hopefully we want to get something in the middle. So the coffee should be about 36 grams when it comes out. We will be aiming for 35, 40, anything in that range is acceptable. It doesn't have to be exact. So about in the 30s, let's say 30 to 40 grams. And that should take about 25 seconds, 25 to 30 to come out. If it takes 10 seconds, then that's too quick. And that tells me your grind size is too large and you'll see the pressure being low. If my 36 gram shot takes a minute to come out, then that's too fine. And so we need to increase the grind size to fix that. So without talking too much, let's actually make a coffee and see what happens. I will press the program button, then the program. This is how you change the settings. You don't have to do this every time, of course. This is how you change. So you press the program, then the button you want to program, and then it'll make a coffee. And then I'll stop it when I'm happy with the volume. I've also got my clock here just to see how long it takes. We may have ground it too fine. So it's flowing nice. It's at 12, not 12, this is about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock pressure, which is good actually. It's holding pressure very well there. We are about 25 seconds now. I'll let it go for the full 35 seconds. I think we'll be getting a good shot. There we go. That looks like a good shot. Maybe a bit too fine. So the taste may be a bit too strong, but it's a good shot nonetheless. The flow is nice and symmetrical. It was about 30 seconds, so a bit more. Yeah, this is 38 grams. Very good shot. And I think we did very well. I will only say that to make this go a little bit quicker, I would increase the grind size. So I would go from grind size 3 to grind size 4. And I'll do that for you now, so that when you get the machine, hopefully you should be ready to go. I'm not going to change the grind amount, so I'll leave it there at 3 o'clock. So grind size 4, just to make the grind size a little bit larger. Excuse me. Once the coffee is finished, take out the port filter nice and quickly, give it a knock to get rid of the coffee and flush. Press the double button or the single. This will give you, again, hot water to clean the shower screen and the port filter. And if you want to be extra nice to your machine, grab a tissue or a brush and give it a good wipe. Very nice. Yeah, that's a strong shot. So it has a bit of bitterness, which you may or may not like, depending on your taste. Great, next is steaming. I'll turn on the steamer. Usually it takes about 15 seconds to start steaming. I'm going to fill my milk jug with full cream milk, about halfway. So, you have to learn the technique if this was your first coffee machine. It's not too difficult, but basically after you hear the pump pulsing, you'll see the pressure increasing. Turn it off, get your jug, place it, turn it back on. Position the jug at an angle and try to keep the milk spinning. And keep the tip close to the surface, so that in the first 10 seconds, you want to hear this hissing sound. And then after the 10 seconds, raise your jug so that you don't hear that hissing sound anymore. That hissing sound indicates that you're injecting air into the milk and giving it more like bubbles and texture. You don't want to do that for too long, otherwise your milk will be too thick. So when you raise the jug, now it's just spinning the milk without injecting any air. So for a latte, you want it to be nice and smooth texture. So keep it spinning to mix it up, and then when it's too hot to the touch, which is about 65 degrees on my thermometer here, that means it's ready. Give it a purge. So the machine will give you about 5 seconds to wait before it leaves the steam mode. So you just give it a purge to get rid of the steam. To use the steam to get rid of any milk. And then, this is very important. Obviously grab a wet towel and wipe the wand straight away. The wand is metal and it gets really hot as the steam flows through it. So the milk will bake on it and it will stick. It'll be really hard to remove if you don't clean it right away. That's about it. That's all nice and clean. ready to make another coffee or ready to be turned off and then used in the next morning. The milk is very good, looks really nice. I'm gonna knock it on the counter to break any big air bubbles. Then I'm gonna swirl it up to mix up the texture and make sure it's even. Do this a few times until the surface is it's nice and smooth, almost like wet paint if you've ever seen it. Looks really good. All done. If you have any sort of barista training, or if you have a lot of time to practice your latte art, I'm sure you can do some latte art as well. I'm not very good with it, so I'm sorry, but it looks like a good texture, it looks like a good latte. I'm looking forward to having it. Yeah, if you have any issues or concerns, please let me know. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you later this weekend. Thanks, Vincent.